take it back for a moment. I've got one of my monitors just frozen up.
All right. Again, guys, thanks for bearing with us. I looked through here and looked at some of the rules and questions. There was a couple questions about how to contact me during the year. If you email me, I'm pretty good about looking at those and finding them right away. If I need to call you, I will. Most of the time, instead of answering directly off the cuff, I'll take a second, because generally speaking, the questions you're going to ask me are going to be ones that require a little bit of thought by you. They aren't obvious, so most of the time I probably won't answer immediately. I just want to make sure that what I tell you is proper before I do. Typically, I'll email you back. You can call me, but if I'm on the field or somewhere where I can't get to you, I may not in fact return your call immediately. And if you email me, then it can be a little bit clearer about what you're asking me and things like that. So I prefer email, but a phone call, if it's incredibly urgent or needs attention right away, you can do that. But I would prefer email. We good to go, Greg?
Should be.
Hello, I am Tom Heiler, the Director of Umpires for the NCAA, and welcome to this year's session on mechanics. This year, we're going to be focusing on several areas that have been brought to our attention from both NCAA staff and conference coordinators. As a program, we would like to see the following areas improved for the 2010 season. It is important to note that the vast majority of our umpires are really doing a great job. These areas covered may be a refresher for some, and will certainly be some constructive guidance for others. As mentioned in one of the video bulletin segments last year, umpires are going into foul territory too often on plays at first base. Ideally, umpires should be taking as many plays at first base in fair territory as possible. Just because a ground ball is hit to the right side of the infield is not a reason for the umpire to go into foul territory. When the first baseman fields a ground ball and throws to the pitcher covering the bag, the umpire should strive to remain in fair territory. Getting 1 or 2 steps in fair territory will enable the umpire to see the fielder step on the bag and to allow the batter runner to run straight through the base without colliding with the umpire. Don't forget to take your eyes off the fielder's mitt after he has stepped on the base to make sure you have voluntary release. Pitchers are taught to touch the inside half of the bag, and an umpire in foul territory might not be able to see if the pitcher hits the inside corner or misses it entirely as he is making that play. There are times when an umpire may need to go into foul territory to take a play at first base. A couple of instances are when a second baseman fields the ball going hard to his left, or a first baseman fielding the ball deeply behind first base. In both of those instances, an umpire would have to go into foul territory to achieve a 90-degree angle, and must also go into foul territory to stay out of the throwing lane and to not get hit by a thrown ball. When an umpire does read pressure and needs to go into foul territory, just taking 1 or 2 steps into foul territory is all that is needed. From that position, the umpire will be out of the way of the batter runner running through the base, and will also have a great look at the fielder's foot touching the inside of the base. Going too far into foul territory will take away the look at the inside edge of the bag, and the umpire will not be able to tell whether the base was touched or not. Additionally, being too far foul will force the base umpire to look through the batter runner legs, making it difficult to tell when the bag was touched or when the fielder received the ball. It should be noted that whether you are working 2, 3, 4, or even 6-man mechanics, these guidelines should be followed for each of those situations. It is vitally important in the 2-man system not to get caught in foul territory when it is not necessary, as you are responsible for taking the batter runner to second base should there be an overthrow. There is a growing concern across the country as to why umpires are not getting set for plays. There seems to be a pattern developing with umpires not getting set. The NCAA Umpire Improvement Program wants to clearly send a message to officials that it is our expectation for umpires to be set for plays. It is understood that it's not always possible for an umpire to get set on plays that may require a read step when recognizing a poorly thrown ball. The majority of plays during the season require an umpire to stop and get set to see the play. Too often, umpires are trying to get those last 2 to 3 steps on a play and are sacrificing getting set for those last few steps. This is an area that our national coordinators and regional advisors will both be focusing on in the coming 2010 season. Here are some clips of umpires getting set. When a first base umpire moves in from the foul line and sets up for the play, he should have his head on the ball and his body squared up to the potential play at first base. Once the fielder releases the ball, the umpire needs to determine whether a quality throw is being made to first base. A quality throw is one that the fielder receiving the ball will stretch directly towards the thrower to receive the ball. A ball that is not a quality throw will take the first baseman off the bag and require the umpire to adjust. Too often, umpires are getting set with their initial angle and then not adjusting when there is a bad throw. In cases of a poor throw, a read step is needed. That step is necessary when the throw takes the fielder's mitt toward the foul line and enables the umpire to see the first baseman's foot in relationship to the bag and to observe a potential swipe tag. Many umpires were observed during this last season getting set for the initial throw, but then not reacting to a poor throw. Let's first take a look at some plays where the umpire correctly set up with an initial correct angle, but may have been better served to take a read step to get a better look at the fielder's foot in relationship to the bag.